If you told me 5 years ago that I would be writing code for a living, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't believe you. It was a future that I didn't think would was for me. I thought programmers and software engineers were these geniuses that were coding from young, and it's something I'd never be able to do. And now I'm doing it, and I've been working as a software engineer for over 3.5 years now. I graduated computer science at university, and when I think back now, there's a lot of things that I would actually do differently. And I'm just going to kind of tell the story of how I got into software development or software engineering, and how I was also having the maybe some people have got the same thoughts as I did, as this isn't for me, or it's something that I would never actually get good at. So a lot of people kind of get into computer science for financial reasons, and that was a big reason why I decided to study computer science at university. So it started actually in my A levels. I was 18, no, I was 16, choosing my A levels, and I picked computer science because I had just watched some YouTube video of some child prodigy who made some app and sold it for millions. And I was thinking, cool, I want to make millions of pounds and be a gazillionaire. Um, Let me pick computer science. And yeah, I dropped it. I started computer science at AS, and I was like, this shit is boring. Like a lot of other computer science graduates or students, I'm a gamer. I like to play games. So I thought, shit, I'll probably be alright with working with computers. But nah, definitely not. And it wasn't the same thing. And so a lot of people, I don't know if you're watching this, but for context, computer science at A levels is a lot of theory and not that much practical experience. And so it can deter a lot of people off of computer science, and I don't blame them, to be honest with you, because the spec is very boring. Um, if you just want to write code for a living, there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't need to do. And this is the thing that a lot of people kind of get confused with. Computer science is the study of computers and computer science, and kind of in depth the theory of what's going on behind a computer and these fundamentals, which if you kind of just interested in writing code and making things and building stuff, websites and apps, you don't technically need to know those things. Those things will kind of expand your knowledge, and as you get into it, you could just be, an enthusiast and enjoy learning about this stuff. But initially getting into it, I'm just like, I want to make some bread, man. Like, what do you mean? I don't care about how, what's going on under the hood. And so, yeah, I dropped it, man. And I thought I'd never kind of look at computer science again. And it was only till I was applying for uni, I thought I'd give it another shot. And so I, on a whim, just decided to study computer science. And then getting into, my first semester or first, kind of few weeks at uni, I definitely thought it was time for me to drop it. I had major imposter syndrome. I'm looking around like, who are these people? Like, these lot all know how to code, and I don't know how to write a single line of code. And yeah, 5 years later, I'm now writing code for a living, which is a crazy thought. But yeah, I remember going to my tutor, and I went to them. I said, "Look, can I switch degrees? I want to maybe study maths or something." And he told me the technical skills will come later. You have communication skills, and that is key in the industry. And he was right. And the technical skills did come later. I just needed to keep at it, essentially. Um, but yeah, a lot of people are trying to get into coding, and they kind of just don't know where to start. So I'm gonna kind of firstly talk about my first exposure into coding and kind of what motivated me to learn. So it was at university, and I had to write my first lines of code in Java. And yeah, seeing kind of everyone naturally be able to write code since they had done it before, or they were really interested in it, and my initial motivation was money, and I'm like, when's the money gonna roll in, man? Like, I wasn't getting that kind of, I wanted that instant gratification, and so that was kind of what motivated me, is seeing all these people who knew how to code, and me thinking like, kind of what's so different between me and them? Just because they might have been writing code from young doesn't mean that I can't get into it now. Like, what's stopping me from just getting into it? And once I kind of zoomed out, and I no longer was kind of chasing that short term, like initial motivation, which was trying to make money, I realized, cool, let me learn this, let me take my time with this. And slowly was able to kind of understand it, and also stopping myself from looking over at my peers and seeing where they started or how far behind I was. It ended up looking like a mountain that I didn't even want to start climbing. And I instead started reflecting, month by month, week by week, seeing, okay, cool. Last month I didn't know this concept, and now this month I do. That means I'm actually getting better. And so that kind of progress is what kind of inspired me to keep going. Now, I'll be honest with you, coding at the start is tough. Like, there's a reason why it's got one of the biggest dropout rates, and it's this massive learning curve that you've got initially. It's like this big wall where you're looking at all this gibberish, and you're like, bro, this is not for me. Like, I don't know what any of it and what anything's going on. And it's kind of the same thing. How I can relate it to is maths. When, like, if you're any of you who studied maths, like, if you do 1,000 algebra questions over and over again, it's just muscle memory at that point. And if you show that to like a 5-year-old kid, that you're seeing X's and Y's, you're like, what is going on here? This looks like gibberish. But because you've done it 1,000 times, for you it's just common sense. And you can even relate it to the gym, like that you're doing like progressive overload. You're going in the gym every day. You're increasing your reps. You're practicing. That's the way to learn programming. You need to kind of just get your reps in. You got to get your sets in the gym, and you need to be writing code like every day or every other day. Like, there's no shortcuts. Like, so again, after I graduated and I was trying to get my my first role, I was binge watching computer science and tech and coding YouTubers, thinking that it was just gonna go into my brain, like, through osmosis. Like, if I just watch these videos over and over again, I would get better and get all the knowledge that I need to get my first role, or get better at coding. And it's like fake productivity. The way you get better is writing code. It sounds silly saying it out loud now, but you're in that rut where you're like, you'll do anything but just do the bare minimum, which is write code. You've got to write code every day. I don't care what it is. If you need to just write hello world every day, if you need to make a bunch of loops, do a bunch of exercises online, and just write more code. So for me, what broke the barrier, like that initial learning barrier, was making my first project. And so my first ever project was a little game I made, and I'll make another video about it and kind of how I went about doing that. But like, everyone talks about projects, and I even like would follow a YouTube video and kind of follow along and just kind of copy the code that they were doing, but I didn't learn anything from doing that. It was only till I actually sat down and like broke it down and understood like what is actually going on here. Like, when I'm making this project, like, and then for context, I'm talking about like a web development project, like what's actually involved in this. And yeah, just breaking it down and seeing, okay, cool. So bottom line, we need to build a navigation bar. Okay, cool. And we need to make some buttons. Like, what actually is that? And I'll Google what is a navigation bar, what is a button, how to make it, and kind of learning these frameworks slowly, and understanding like what it takes to kind of make a project. And that's kind of when everything clicked. That was like my moment where I'm like, cool, I get it now. Like, I know the fundamentals, I know how to write some code, but I've got nothing to show for it. And building that project, I'm now thinking I was thinking I knew everything, or I knew the fundamentals, but it was only till I made that project and actually deployed it and did everything from start to finish, like designing it, making some basic mock-ups in Figma, making some basic designs, breaking things down into like what components are involved in this. That was when I actually kind of understood everything, and that was where my learnings took place. So yeah, man. So like, the reason I wanted to make this video is like, I don't know if there's someone out there who's kind of maybe was in a similar position as me. I remember kind of just thinking, I'll never be able to write code. Like, this is just not for me. And then now, like 5 years later, I've been writing code I'm writing code for a living now, and the work-life balance is great. The salary is good, and the sky is the limit now. Interviewing for bigger tech companies, and having bigger and better ideas on making projects and how to monetize them. And now, like, there's so much potential, and having that skill to be able to write code, I'm now generating extra income from that, not only from my full-time job, but teaching other people to code, and tutoring kids as well how to code. that's also generating me more revenue. So this skill now I've been able to teach myself just online. I know I do have a computer science degree, and you'd think that I learned how to code from my computer science degree, but I didn't. I learned how to code online, and don't rely on a degree to learn how to code. It's on you, and yeah, man. I hope this was a beneficial listen. Probably gonna make more kind of video blogs, like just talking over some gameplay or something, and then just maybe even if I can help one person or give insight to at least one person, I think that's a good use of my time. So, yeah, let me know if this was useful for you, and we'll see you in the next one.